Okay. Take one.
Right?
Welcome to the TMV Lounge.
Greetings. All right. So today we have myself, Vanessa, Tay, and Avey. And I'm excited to have Avey in the lounge today because I love her energy, her spirit, and everything. And we always get to talk. And I said, you know what? I'd like to have you in the lounge just to be able to talk about like women's health and plant-based diets. We always have great conversations. So today we're going to hit on the topic of women's health.
Yes.
And also just being a woman and eating well and taking care of yourself. So with that, I'm going to have Miss Avey can introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Avey. I am also the owner of Miss IE Plants. No, I'm not the owner of Miss IE Plants. That's my website, MissIEPlants.com. I am the owner of #IE Plants, inspired by Vanessa. and I'm a plant-based diet educator, and I just help clients to reach their goal by just eating healthy, and if they want to make a transition to plant-based eating, not just any type of fruits and vegetables, but an alkaline diet, and that's it. You know, I shop locally at farmer markets and all that good stuff, and eating organic and non-GMO foods.
She makes eating plant-based so delicious.
I tried.
So delicious. Okay, so plant-based. I tell people that I have a plant-based diet, and I started saying that after meeting you.
Okay.
Because you don't eat like meat, dairy, or anything. You can go over all of that.
Yes.
But I do eat chicken and salmon.
It's all right though.
You know?
You feed the spirit.
Right, but and so people are like, you're vegetarian, you're vegan. And I was like, no, I'm plant-based.
Yes.
And with that said, I'm gonna throw it into the foods that you do eat, and why you say plant-based.
Plant-based. The thing is that I think everyone puts people in these boxes, or they label them like, oh, you're a vegan, so you must. I get this all the time. Oh, so you eat soy, you eat tofu, and it's like, no, I don't. I'm actually against it. I do not consume soy or tofu. So I think that's what society does. We put ourselves in these labels, in this box, and like we can't eat outside the box, or we can only eat these particular items because that's what the labels say. Yeah, like oh, you're vegan, you must do this.
You're pescatarian. You're
yeah, like oh, so you. And that's funny because somebody said I had somebody say. I heard a conversation. This lady was like, I'm pescatarian. They were like, oh, so you eat shrimp? And I was like, no, I don't even like shrimp. So, you know, it's like, you know, right. So it's the whole stigma behind it. So, and when I say alkaline and the way that I eat is like, no, I do not consume white flour, white rice. You know, every now and then I may have basmati rice, but I'm really particular. I prefer wild rice, ancient grains like spelt, kamut, and you know, everyone who knows Dr. Avey, you know, I follow that alkaline diet, and that's just something that works for me in my body, and also.
Go ahead.
Okay, and you know, and I always tell everybody, my body is my body, and what works for my body may not work for your body, and that's the main thing. That's one thing I also tell a lot of women is. Everybody listens to everybody, but they don't listen to their body.
That's what I was gonna start saying. I was like, how does how your diet actually affects how you are taking care of your body?
Exactly.
It's important to be able to. I always think of it. I know gasoline, but think of your body as a car. It is your vehicle. So if you are putting gas in your car, if you have a regular gas tank and you put diesel in it, it's not gonna work.
Right.
But there's, you know, they say like, oh, it really doesn't matter what grade of gas that you put in your car, but some people have to put in 93 or higher. And if you put in lower, whatever the case may be, but if you think of your body and food, how you feel your body, that is you're feeding
Yeah.
your body and trying to make sure that your engine is running smoothly. So that's how I feel about food. Plant-based, yes, I do eat chicken. Yes, I do eat salmon. But
Yeah.
that's how
You're
I feel.
Exactly.
And I say I'm plant-based.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a whole, and I think that's one thing, like, just eating what makes you feel good, what feels good to your body. Like, if you see how your body responds. There was one time, let's go back to the Dr. Sadie diet, because I followed that diet strictly for 2 years, and it was very alkaline, and I loved it. But after a while, my body didn't even like amaranth, and amaranth is very alkaline, but my digestive system didn't agree with it, and I couldn't eat gluten after a while, and spelt is very, high in gluten, so it's kamut, so I had to slowly eliminate those things. I went gluten free for a while, and
let me ask this: so as far as like transition into like your eating and your health and stuff like that, when did you become more aware of? Let me say, not just let's go with food. We're talking about plant-based, but as far as being aware of your health, and how you treat your body and how your food has
when
a
I
big
became conscious.
important.
I didn't become conscious about food until I had my daughter. I have 2 children. I have a son, I have a daughter. My daughter is 7, and that's when I became really conscious about everything. As at 16 years old, Candida started to invade my whole digestive system, and you started to thrive in my gut. And it affected my womb and everything, and that's when I knew I had a really high, I tell the story all the time, I was really addicted to sugar, and I really was so addicted because that's all I knew, and that's how I grew up. Like, we grew up eating nothing but white rice, white bread, meat, canned vegetables, and I drank Kool-Aid. That's what I was raised on. I never drank water, nor was I really introduced to forced to drink water.
Okay.
So when I became conscious when I had a daughter, and I was like, man, I don't want that for her.
Okay.
Just to break.
May I ask how old you were when you had your daughter?
24.
Okay.
I look 24 now, huh? That must be
Yes, you do.
I'm not.
Okay. So as far so you mentioned as far as when you're like 16, and as being
that's women's health right there.
That's women's health. So knowing one, Candida is, and I'm looking at
Candida.
to be able, and I say that because I want to hear the way that
horrible.
if you don't mind, dear.
Talk about break that down.
I didn't exactly what she was talking about, but I forget everyone don't or isn't always as aware as everyone else. So Candida is one of the yeast families that's very common in women's health. So usually you get rid of it by having an antifungal treatment, and that could be via a pill, like an oral pill, or to get rid of a yeast infection, you could use antifungal like vaginally as well, and then you should be straight after like 2 days. And common symptoms of Candida in your vagina would be itching, funny discharge.
And that's a lot of people don't, but I'm glad you explained that, because a lot of women don't know. And when that happened to me, I'm being open because it's true.
Yeah.
And at 16, not even, whether you're sexually active or not, it was really, with me, it was a diet. Yeah. It was already in my digestive system. It was in my gut.
For like, as far as, because I know like a Candida, and overgrowth, like there's some people have it's an imbalance. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you get like a yeast infection or anything like that, it's because there's an imbalance.
And it's not growth. Everyone, it's growth. It's like, no, your body's imbalanced.
Definitely normal. And everybody has your favorite word, homeostasis.
Yes.
Everybody's body should be in homeostasis, but what happens is a lot of times we have different pH because of whatever we're eating, like you said, ingesting, or even sexual, or however we're swapping bacteria or putting extra stuff into or out of our body, we mess up that pH. So keeping a good pH is great when you want to stay in homeostasis, because if not, you can either have too much bacteria or you have too much yeast. So it's one or the other.
Yeah. Yep. So definitely changing my diet.
What was it like taking Kool-Aid out of your diet?
Because I love sugar.
I know, that's the
I would
thing.
eat a whole thing of cookie dough.
I know, and that's a heavy addiction. Sugar. So after I have this thing, and then people probably have heard of it. So after 30 days, your body doesn't crave it. That's what I feel. Or if you can go 30 days without something, then you can be able, your whole taste buds can probably change and adjust. But I just knew when I brought my daughter home from the hospital, I was really conscious. I breastfed. I was like, I'm not going to give her Kool-Aid. Because I remember my mom giving my brother Kool-Aid in a sippy cup. And I was like, I don't want to break in this cycle. I can't do it. I did not want to. I just wanted a different life. And my daughter really inspired me. And, the whole woman's health thing is, let's talk about, you want to talk about the science of that? The woman's health? Like, the thing.
The importance of it, or?
Well, the thing is, okay, to me, when it came, this is how I became conscious of women's health, is, of course, when I had my daughter, but the science behind the conceiving. So, when a baby girl is born, she's born with what? Everything. Yeah. Her ovaries, everything. So, I had to put in my mind that woman's health begins right then and there, right in the womb. So her health already begun when she was in me, and I'm carrying that. So that's so when I became cognitive of that, that was like, oh, okay. And so at 24, and I started researching, and I came across, of course, the legendary, Dr. Avey, may peace be upon him, our ancestor. So,
gotta start from right where. Because that's your homeostasis, and I say that because as a woman, I think I don't have any children, but it's to be conscious of that, because you are now aware not just of yourself, but of what you are developing. So to be able to be aware of how to better, not just nutritionally, but to know to take care of your womb, whether you have a boy or a girl, but you have to take care of everything that you have.
Right.
And that really does that, just like that, to be able to have the understanding that it does start right there. And you have, right at conception, and you have to be able to know that no matter where you are in your own health, it is important to take care of your health. Whether having babies, whether being active, whether whatever it is for your mind, body, and your spirit, to be able to be conscious of what it is that you are doing with your body and putting into your body as far as food and everything, because no matter what happens.
No, that's
true. That's true. But I'm saying that, I'm saying that no matter where you are in your life, it could be not just having babies or sex or anything like that, but being able to know anything could happen to you. If something were to happen, you have to take care of your body, take care of your health, and that does come with eating. That does come with knowing I do like wine. I'm gonna drink some wine, but I also know that knocks off pH balance as well. But I know that I need to drink a lot of water. All of that does make sense, but it's a matter of being conscious, not making thinking I have to do this, I have to do this. It starts to become a habit, and your body craves it, your body needs it, your body wants it, and the moment that it doesn't, it does get out of line. Your pH balance goes, and as a woman, it doesn't take very much to be oh man, and it can show up anywhere from
something ain't right.
Yep, something ain't right.
From you sweating and
from sweating, from
anything.
It's very normal, and like I said, a lot of people don't talk about it. They're ashamed.
It's so crazy. You would think out of all the women in the world, you would talk about this type of stuff, but a lot of times you don't. And a lot of parents don't talk to their kids about things, so then they're scared to bring it up when they have a smell or something's out of whack and they don't know what's going on. But I can say a lot of parents don't know what's wrong with them either.
Exactly.
So you can't teach what you don't know. But talking about it, you'd be surprised who had that same thing.
Yeah.
Or
that
who
is
went
very
through the
true.
same thing.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. My mom, she was very open.
Tell your story. Because of Vanessa, I did the same thing with my daughter. Tell her about the second patient. I did it was What your mom, how your mom taught you
Oh.
about the sex education. She's like, no,
Okay,
go get a
okay.
mirror.
So
talk about that. That's
hi,
important.
I have a really great mother. She's awesome. I love her so much. But okay, so I'm saying as far as being able, before I go into my mom was very open with me. But not just that, but my sister was great, and then I had a god sister who was a doctor as well. And I'm both my sister and my sister and my god sister have passed on, transitioned. But I'm so grateful because that I was like 19 or 20 when they made their transition, and I'm grateful for the times that they did talk to me. They did ask me questions. My god sister was my doctor in my teenage or my like young adult, like 17, 18, 19 years old. So it's very important. Not everybody has that type of openness. But that said, my mom, when I was like 12, I think it was, like, we have sex education. And sex education, when I had it and what they got now, I don't really know what's going on.
Right.
I'm really not sure. The curriculum is definitely a lot different than when I was a kid. But when it was introduced to the curriculum, my mom was like, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. My grandmother, who has 16 kids, and she talked to my mom or whatever, and my mom was like, okay, well, grandma said it's important for you to know. My grandmother told me was, what the school can't teach you about your nature, but you can learn. And that stuck with me because when I did go and take sex ed, my mom was like, all right, these are all picture books, all right? And yes, you reading it and everything, but it was important. She was like, you should be able to look at yourself and know what your body looks like versus what you're seeing in a picture. Know what it is that you're reading about your body, and not being ashamed to see, and then say something if something is off or whatever, because that is your health.
Nope.
Okay.
Are you gonna go into details what happened, or can I go? So
sure.
Vanessa told me.
Well, okay. Go ahead.
So I'm very open, and I really feel like women who have children, especially daughters, teach them now. My daughter is 7. I started very young. I remember at 2, I was already on it. Like, this is this. No one's supposed to touch you. This is a sacred area. This and this. And we always been very open and honest and truthful with her, just straight raw. Cause there's no other way I'm gonna be, but raw with her. Yeah. This is just the times we live in,
Teach her before the guy down the street teaches her.
Exactly. So I was like, nah, this is what it is, and this is what it ain't. It's just plain as day. So she was curious one day about her body, and I was like, okay, go get a mirror.
But we had the conversation. Like, I don't know, and I'm saying that like that's if it wasn't for the fact that we have problems. I'm not sure how that would have been, but
yeah, I was like, go get a mirror.
Yeah, young.
I gave her all the labels and what it looked like. She was okay, and I said, okay, put it down. I let her have her own little privacy. I turned my back, said, here go mirror, I'm gonna be right here. And I'm turning my back. She's laying down. She got her. I was like, okay, so what do you want to know? She's all like, well, what's this right here? She's all touching herself, and I'm telling her, okay, well, this is the labia, the vulva, I'm going all into the stuff, and it's important. But now she knows, and this was when she would turn 5, but now she knows, she's aware, and it was very important for me to put that in her head that this is her body, this is her. I always say, this is your sacred area. No one touches, just put it out there right now, and I'm pretty sure she'll be appreciative of it. Now she knows at 7,
Yes.
So so she still asks me a million. But one thing that also striked her curiosity was because when I had my son, I had a home birth with him, and she was right there. So she was already at 3. She was already curious. She saw a baby come out. She's like, what? Like, so it's beautiful. She wants to be a midwife now, so maybe next time we'll have her on the show.
Right. Right. She's very intelligent.
She's dope. She's dope.
She
got to meet her.
Let's see. Now we talked about as far as food, women's health, being able to know your body. Let's see.
We can talk about the doctor's appointment.
Yes.
Remember you said about the COVID?
Yes.
So a lot of times, we go to the doctor to get our annual exam. Well, in healthcare right now, you're not supposed to get a pap smear until you're 21. And
Oh wow, really?
yes.
See, I didn't even know that.
Oh. So the pap smear is what we test for the human papillomavirus, which is for short called HPV, and that could lead to cervical cancer in the future. So what happens is now we have like a shot called Gardasil where you would get your preteens a shot, and now it's for guys and girls, and it covers a lot of the different strands, so that by the time you turn 21, you can get scanned for those infected cells possibly. But because the 20s are your a good like childbearing years, all of that part of your uterine lining shed by the time you're 30. So if you do get an abnormal pap smear, but the doctors or whatever primary care you have think that it is human papillomavirus, they don't really care until you're over 30 because you're going to get rid of that lining anyway.
Interesting.
And a lot of people do get infected from sex, of course, because it's a sexually transmitted.
Is it contact? Is it how's it? I mean, I know it's sexually contact, but is it contact? Is it fluids? Is it all of the above?
I don't want to flex. We'll have to look it up to be sure. But I am not a doctor yet. So I would like to just say that. But I would just like to add to, so a lot of people start having sex as a teenager. So it takes about 10 years. Don't quote me too. It takes about 10 years for that part of your uterus to shed that. So that's why we care, or medical facilities care after 30 if you have HPV, because if those cells are still there 10 years later, we need to talk. You're probably about to have cervical cancer.
Right.
And so a lot of times let's say a teenager goes to the doctor because they're having sex, or a early 20 or late 20 woman lay on the bed and you get those speculum, right? Mm-hmm. Well, just because they go in there doesn't mean that they're checking for a pap smear. It's not a pap smear. They're just doing a pelvic exam when they're examining your pelvic area. Honestly, it's just what it means. Yeah. And usually they're testing for any STD, STIs that you may or may not have. And that's usually what that is. So just because somebody go in there doesn't mean you're getting a pap smear. And then also a pap smear should be done every 3 years after the first one. So if you start at 21, the second one should be when you're 24. And so on every 3 years, only if it's negative. Right.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you.
I didn't know about that. Yeah. How do you feel? What's your opinion about the Gardasil? Do you think it is effective? Like, how do you feel about it?
Ew.
Or you think it's one of the whole vaccination type, conspiracy types? I want to hear. I won't get too deep in it because, we're not trying to get blocked.
Since you're asking about my scientific opinion, of course, I'm all 100% for any type of vaccinations, because if we have a vaccine for it and we eradicated, let's say, polio or chickenpox or whatever it is, measles, mumps, rubella, get your shot. Why? I don't want to be sitting here with no measles, mumps, rubella. And I haven't had chickenpox because I had the shot. So I'm definitely not trying to have shingles when I'm 40. So y'all need to get your shots.
I got the chickenpox vaccination, and I still got chickenpox as a child. I remember.
It be like that sometimes.
So it's like, I don't know. We won't go too much in it because that's a very touchy subject.
But don't go off of Google.
That's
if you're going to go off of something, don't go off of Google. You have to do your own scientific research. So if you don't go on Google Scholar, reading the whole 24-page essay,
making an informed decision for yourself.
To make it right. Don't go off of Google and reviews of some mom who don't have nothing to do at home but blog about something.
It's a very touchy subject.
Yeah. But yes, I agree. 100%. Any vaccination, I don't own it, so you need to get a vaccine. Because if you coming around my workspace, or you coming around where I live at, or I touched the knob and you touched it too, I don't want that. I don't want polio. We eradicated that 100 years ago. Why is it coming back?
It is?
Yeah, it's crazy. Who want polio?
Okay, I know that's what I'm saying. Okay.
All right. Back to women's health. Okay,
A lot of people, I get a lot of women who use
Okay, I will tell you this. This is what my sister told me.
What'd she say?
She said, don't put nothing in your vagina because it's going to come out.
That's true.
That's what she told me. And like, I was very, like, she said, don't put nothing in your vagina because it's a self-cleaning organism. And I was like 6 or 7. She was like, it's a self-cleaning organism. Whatever, it'll come out. Let's put nothing in there. And I'm like, okay. Like, okay. And I say that because when it's taking baths, showers, and all the other stuff, people have all these type of products. Yeah. And I'm like, smell your vagina. It's not, it ain't supposed to smell. I mean, put a nice little fragrance oil or something on. But putting all it on it's gonna mess up your pH.
It's self-cleaning, number one.
It
self-cleans itself. You do not need to clean on the inside of your vagina. It self-cleans it.
Yeah.
But I would like to add, if I may. So having a good pH, it goes back to homeostasis, and it goes back to what Avey said. You need to have a good diet. Yeah. Not diet mean be on a diet, but what are you eating? What are you giving yourself? Yeah. What kind of gas are you putting in your car? Well, if you are making sure that you have that alkaline balance or that those nutritious foods that your body needs, your body won't go out of whack and try to figure out, oh, what's going on? Let's start stinking. What's going on? Let's not overproduce too much bacteria, too much yeast, and now you're in the bathroom scratching and feel too good. So with that being said, you need to eat. You need to eat somewhat healthy.
You do.
You don't have to eat healthy like to the T every day, to every meal.
Oh yeah, don't stress yourself out. That part's
yeah, but incorporate more fruits and vegetables.
And definitely water.
Water. Yeah. Flush your system out. You should be pee clear.
Yes.
My high school teacher told me you should pee clear.
I know I these pee should be yellow. I said, yeah. Try your best to get us. You should match the toilet water. Yeah,
and there are hints of hue. It's not right. A hint. It's not necessary. Not necessarily, because depending on what you eat, just FYI, beets you will pee right. Like it depends on what you're eating too, what time of day, how much water you're drinking, and everything else. But the reason why I say that, if you go from an older person and a younger person, I say as far as urine. A person who might be older, sometimes they are more dehydrated because they're not drinking a lot of water. Their urine is going to be a darker color than someone who is drinking a lot of water because their body is not being able to process out the different toxins. When your urine you're expressing toxins and different things that you don't need in your system. So if you are drinking water, you are flushing your system and everything. Yeah. And you're making like as far as toxins, you can take a vitamin and your pee is going to be bright yellow. Right. But if you're drinking water throughout the day, it'll be flushed out. So the hue of your pee is important to note. However, my phone died.
I was like, are you gonna do it and get the phone?
I was.
You saw it.
Because I usually give me 3 blinks.